Barry Trotz is coming in to take over for David Poile as the GM of the Nashville Predators, who is retiring. And Barry Trotz, after not getting into coaching this last year, ends up back where he started in Nashville. In Nashville, but this time he's taking over as general manager, effective June 30th. Basically, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. And David Poile is the only general manager in Nashville Predators history. One guy, David Poile, for every single year that they've been in existence.
Which is impressive.
Which is extremely impressive. And what an incredible run for him. And I got to be honest with Shades, I'm a little bit surprised that Barry Trotz didn't return to coaching. Had a lot of success with the Islanders, but, maybe this is something that he wanted to do later in his career. Always wanted to get into the front office, has an opportunity to do that with the team that he started his coaching career with. So, again, like you said, I'll echo your sentiment. Good for him.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I'm very glad that he won his Stanley Cup with the Capitals and not the Islanders.
100% agreed.
No, but with the way he's coached over the years, I think I can say that I'm pretty confident that he'll be at least a decent general manager.
Agreed. And, like I said earlier, you never know if he had a little bit of influence with this trade alongside David Poile, while he can't take over in the role officially, maybe David Poile can kind of show him some pointers. And, there's a good opportunity right at the trade deadline, selling, to kind of, show him the ways and how to execute trades and get the return that you want. And Predators did that in both their trades.
Yep. And while it looks like the Predators might be headed for either a mini rebuild or a retool on the fly, I think they're in good hands.
I think they're in good hands too.
The Nashville Predators have gotten an absolute haul this trade deadline. Between the Tanner Jeannot and Nino Niederreiter trades that we talked about in last episode, today they made a deal with the Edmonton Oilers where they traded Matthias Ekholm and a 2024 sixth round pick. In return, they got Tyson Barrie, prospect Reed Schaefer, a 2023 first, and a 2024 fourth. That is a haul. And if you really think about it, they could very well move and flip Barrie before the deadline on Friday and acquire even more picks and or prospects. Nashville has done a phenomenal job so far in getting values for the players that they have sold off.
And you know what? I think you're right. And I think that's the reason, because they have exercised patience in the past with not selling off at deadlines. And they've been able to accrue multiple years of having one of the best defensive systems in the NHL. And their top six has a lot to do with that. Dante Fabro is still on the Nashville Predators. I would circle his name as a guy who could potentially get moved too. If they're going to move on from Ekholm, who is arguably their number one defenseman, it also makes you bat an eye at some other players as well. You look at Ryan McDonough, you look at Dante Fabro, those are three players that, including Ekholm, that could provide you a lot of value. And that's exactly what we saw in this trade. So I think it's good that Ekholm is now off of the Predators. And again, Barry Trotz and David Poile, they just continue to just make excellent trades here. And, I don't know how much influence Barry Trotz is having in these decisions, but the draft capital that Nashville is acquiring and how much better that they're getting is clearly evident here. So good for them.